Christianity's spread meant the loss of Norse mythology in Scandinavia. But, in Iceland, where the Vikings set up new independent settlements, they preserved Norse mythology for 500 years longer than in their Scandinavian homelands. In the 11th century, a Christian priest named Sigmund Sigfusson wrote down the oral tradition of poems. The name of these poems, called the Elder Edda, translates to Tales of the Grandmother. From this Elder Edda, the poems were transformed into prose stories called the Younger Edda, describing the creation of the world and the adventures of the gods. According to the Younger Edda, in the beginning, where earth is now, there was nothing, no sand, sea, or grass. There was only empty space called Ginnungagap. On the north side of the empty space lay mist, ice, and snow, called Niflheim. On the south side, warmth and sunshine existed. The Edda called this area Muspelheim. The sunshine and warmth from the south side began to melt that of the north. The melted material fell into the empty space. The melted material accumulated in Ginnungagap and formed a being called Ymir. Ymir is the ancestor of the frost giants. His body is also the source of Midgard. Midgard's earth comes from his flesh. The seas form from Ymir's blood. Ymir's bones become the mountains, and his skull is the heavens. For dwarves at the north, south, east and west, hold up the skull heavens. Sparks from the warm southern area, Muspelheim, are the stars. Other beings of the creation are a cow, whose name is Audhumbla, meaning Mother Earth. Her milk feeds the being Ymir as he grows. She obtains her nourishment from licking the mist, ice, and snow of Niflheim. Her spittle from licking the ice of Niflheim creates a being that is named Bori. Bori is the grandfather of Odin. Odin has two brothers, Vili and Ve. Together they create a fence around Midgard, using the eyebrows of Ymir. Odin and his brothers find two pieces of wood floating in the sea of Midgard. The brothers change the wood into a man named Ash and a woman named Embla. These are the first inhabitants of Midgard. The idea of Odin is understood through the meaning of his name, and from attributes assigned to him. The word Odin is another form of Woden or Woden, which means movement or hurrying. He is the moving, life-giving breath or air of heaven and corresponds to ever-present life or energy. Odin is the personification of the blue sky, ruling the clouds and the sunlight. He is known as the rain giver and invoked as the protector of sailors. From these purely physical attributes, he developed into a spiritual being. The ever-present ether becomes the ever-present, ever-knowing spirit, the father of all. Since Norse is an oral tradition, Odin is the father of Saga, the goddess of poetry. Two ravens sit on his shoulders. Every morning, they bring him news of what has happened in the world. Hunin, meaning thought, sits on his right shoulder, while Munin, meaning memory, sits on his left. Frigg is his wife. Enthroned beside him, she surveys the world. She knows all, and exercises control over the whole of nature. Often, she is represented seated with a golden spindle. Odin had many lovers, and from them came the god of thunder, Thor, and the god of vengeance, Vidar. There is also the god of light and beauty, Balder, and his twin brother Hod, god of darkness. Other gods include Heimdall and Bragi. Subscribe to this channel to learn more.